Hey everyone, it's Bridget here from Bridget's Healthy Kitchen. Hoping you're well, hoping you are safe. Thank you for joining me. Today we are doing a absolutely delicious chocolate cake. And into that chocolate cake we're going to put avocado, of all things. We already know that the marriage of chocolate and avocado is pretty special. And it works incredibly well in the cake because it makes the cake lovely and moist. So this is going to be a super moist cake, incredibly good for you. Of course, no gluten, no sugar, no dairy, no grain. Really fabulous cake. And you won't even be able to taste the avocado. Just in case you're one of those people like, that sounds terrible, don't worry. The avocado flavor is overpowered with the wonderful raw cacao powder we put in there. But because you're adding avocado, you are adding lots of fiber, you are adding a good monounsaturated fat, which is really good for your heart health, it's really good for your brain health. And of course, like always, all my recipes haven't got any gluten, haven't got any refined sugar, and don't have any dairy in this one, and I don't have any grain. So it's a really great recipe, and it's easy. Did I mention that? It's really easy. Now before I get going, you may notice that I have a bit more of a zing in my step than normal, and that is because we are into Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, day 6 of my 28-day boost camp. Day 6, and already after day 6, I feel like $1 million. I forgot just how good, really good clean eating is. So we're doing this boost camp with a couple of hundred other individuals, and I'm not sure about, I know there's some people who are on the camp who are actually watching this as well. You guys can't make this recipe till after the camp. Once the camp is done, but already after 6 days I am down a pant size. I'm not sure if you can see. I'm down a pant size, so I'm feeling on top of the world. I've got energy to burn, more energy than normal, which is fantastic. So to everyone who has joined us on the 28-day boost camp, let's keep going, guys. It's going to be a fabulous next 3 weeks. If you want to be part of the next 28-day boost camp, we're going to open up registration in a couple of weeks' time, and we're going to be starting the next boost camp on the 11th of January, so we can all have Christmas, we can all have New Year's, and then on the 11th of January, we're going to do another 28-day boost camp, and I'm going to do it along with you. So is Mahi, so is Coco as well. So looking forward to that. But let's get into the recipe. As I said, if you're on the boost camp, no, this is not one for you. This is one for everyone else, including not me as well. So come on down onto my bench. As I was saying, this is such an incredibly simple cake to make. It's going to blow you away how easy it is. So I'm going to work directly onto my scales here, just to make everything easy. And the first ingredient I'm going to add is I'm just going to put all the dry ingredients into one bowl. So I'm adding an almond flour. You of course could use another nut or seed flour of your choosing. If you wanted to go nut free, just use a seed flour that you like to use. And into here I'm putting 160 grams of almond flour, which is about 5.6 ounces goes in there. So that's our first dry ingredient. For sweetness, I'm going to be adding some zero as sugar, our pure erythritol, which we now have fully in stock, don't we, Mahi? It's good, the erythritol levels are good. Don't forget, if you're thinking about Christmas shopping or Christmas baking, I would suggest you order your erythritol or your fiber syrup or your inulin now, so you don't miss out on delivery, because deliveries are starting to slow down. I have definitely noticed that on the things that I have ordered online. So erythritol, we are putting 90 grams of erythritol, goes into here, which is 3 ounces, 90 grams, lovely. As well as that, we are also going to put the chocolate component. And the chocolate component, remember, this is great antioxidants, this is polyphenols, this is good for anti-aging, all those wonderful things. So we're using a raw cacao powder, so obviously unsweetened. And for this ingredient, it's 40 grams of our raw cacao, which is 1.4 ounces goes in. Around about 2 really big heaped tablespoons. But you're better to measure this one because you don't want it to be you don't want to be too bitter, because this stuff is quite bitter, but at the same time you don't want it to be too unchocolatey. So 40 grams or 1.4 ounces of our cacao cacao, we're going to add a bit of a raising agent. I'm adding baking powder, and we're doing 1 teaspoon of baking powder goes in there. And the last dry ingredient, so see, I told you it was easy, pinch of salt. Just a little pinch of mineral salt goes in there as well. Give that a quick stir. And that's kind of all you need to do for the dry ingredients, is just make sure it's stirred through. If you've got some lumps in your cacao, give that a bit of a mix too. You could sift it if you do have big lumps in it, but once we put the wet ingredients in there, it'll all just come together quite nicely. Yes, I have a question.
Can you use besan flour?
Sorry, I missed that. What was that, sorry?
Besan flour?
Okay, the question was, can you use besan flour, which is also chickpea flour? I don't think so. I don't think that flavour would quite work with this particular mix this time. You could definitely try it with quinoa flour if you wanted to have a quinoa flour, which is obviously, no, it's gluten-free and it's nut-free as well, it's a seed. But I think chickpea or besan flour will be a little bit too intense flavoured for this. I mean, by all means, test it. But in my mind right now, thinking through my taste bud history, I'm thinking that may not quite work. So that's all the dry. Let's move on to the wet ingredients. Once again, working straight into my bowl, and this time I'm going to be working into my little food processor, because of course we need to put in some avocado. And just a quick reminder on how we know to check whether avocados are ripe, rather than squeezing them and ruining or potentially disturbing that wonderful flesh. The easiest way to tell if your avocado is ripe is to remove that little top bit and have a look at the color under there. And you can see that it's a lovely green color. So I know that my avocado is perfect. I'm not putting any pressure here. It is perfectly ripe. So for the avocado, we want to extract the flesh. And to get this cake right, because remember, science is a bake, it is definitely, baking is a science. So we want to measure how much avocado we're putting into there. And for this one, and this is for the cake filling, we're going to be putting in 100 grams of avocado, ripe avocado flesh. And as you can see, that is just a bit more than, going to be a bit more than half an avocado for me. The first one weighed at about 70 grams. So 100 grams, 3.5 ounces, total flesh. And it really is important here that you make sure that your avocado is ripe, but not too ripe. So you don't want it to be too brown, which is kind of the story of our lives, right? You don't want it to be too brown, but at the same time, you don't want it to be too firm as well, because it won't mix through our cake very well. So that goes in there. We're also going to be adding in some fiber syrup, and that's 60 grams or 2 ounces of fiber syrup goes in. Fiber syrup is there obviously to give it a little bit more sweetness as well, but it's also there to help to give it moisture. So fiber syrup I like to think of as a sugar alternative to maple syrup, honey, all those sort of things. Obviously it won't spike your blood glucose or raise your insulin levels. So really important and lovely alternative to all those things that will spike our glucose and our insulin. So fiber syrup, 60 grams, 2 ounces. We're also going to add a little bit of coconut milk in there. And I'm adding in 30 grams of coconut milk, which is 1 ounce. Goes in. Here we go. And the last liquid ingredient is just a little bit of pure vanilla. 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract goes in here as well. So that's all the wet. Oh no, I forgot. 2 eggs. I knew there was something else. I was like, hang on, that doesn't look wet enough. 2 eggs. Break in 2 eggs into your mixer. And then just give it a good blend until it all comes together nicely. So you can imagine if my avocado at this point was quite firm, I would have chunks as opposed to this liquid mixture, which is what you want. I mean, it almost looks like an avocado smoothie, doesn't it? But that's what you're after. All right, come back here, Mr. Dry Ingredients. All we need to do now is combine the two. See, told you it's so incredibly easy, this recipe. So just combine the two, give them a bit of a stir together. No need for any other type of, whisk desk or anything like that, this recipe, you could literally do it with your eyes closed. It is so easy. All right, good stir. Make sure everything is mixed in. There's no risk of over mixing this because, you know, there's no gluten, so we don't have to worry about this, that sort of thing. And that's it. So I've currently got my oven set on 170 degrees Celsius, which is 320 degrees Fahrenheit. And I have my little tin here, which I've lined, as you can see, on the bottom and on the sides with non-stick baking paper. And size of the tin, as you can see, this isn't a huge cake, so size of tin does matter here. Now this is a 15 centimeter or 6 inch, so quite a small one, but I wouldn't recommend going any bigger than a 20 inch. Start it again. I would not recommend going any bigger than a 20 centimeter, which is an 8-inch tin. You don't want to do that, otherwise your cake's going to be really, really thin. So I like it to be quite high once it's baked, hence why I'm going for a smaller 15 centimeter tin, which is 6 inches. This is also the tin that I use to make my Christmas cakes, because once again, I like them to be quite small and high. I just think it looks so much cooler. So, but that's up to you. You can go a little bit wider, but if you do go a little bit wider, you just need to watch the temperature, watch the timing. Because when a cake is higher, like my one, it might take an extra 5 to 10 minutes to bake. If you're using a thin and a wider tin and you're making a thinner cake, it will take shorter time to bake. So with that reasoning, I give this particular cake a cooking time, remember at 170 degrees Celsius, of 30 to 40 minutes. So once you've got it all in there, give it a good scrape. Don't want to waste anything. Flatten it out with your spatula. Just a little bit, just smooth over the top. You kind of want to have it as even as possible because this is quite a dense cake, as you can imagine. You know, there's no gluten in there, so it's not going to rise a lot, but it also will bake however you put it in. So if you don't flatten it off, it could come up with a dome top. So if you want to have a nice flat cake, then just smooth it off just a little bit, just to make sure that you are getting that lovely smooth top. But that's up to you. If you like dome, then don't smooth it off. All right, so over to the oven it goes, just like that, over to the oven. That is going to be in there for around about, for me, because I've got a small high cake, it's going to be around about 40 minutes, but allow 30 to 40 minutes of cooking time. And remember, when it's cooking, keep an eye on it. And the best way to tell if it's baked is to take a skewer, insert it right into the middle, and then take that skewer out. And if it comes out clean, then your cake is ready. So 30 to 40 minutes is a good guide. So that now goes into the oven. And here is one that I prepared earlier. As you can see, it is wonderful. It is such a wonderful little cake. It is so gorgeous and easy. I love things that are simple. This could not be, like literally, this could not be any easier when you think about it. You literally mix the dry, mix the wet, combine them, and then bake it. It is incredibly simple. So what I'd also like to teach you now, oh, by the way, once it comes out of the oven, you need to leave it sitting in the tin for about 20 minutes, just to let it cool down, and then turn it out and allow it to cool completely on a wire rack. So you want to have it cooled completely before you put the frosting on. And the frosting that we're going to be adding onto this cake today is a chocolate and avocado frosting. So it is very simple to make. I've just got my oven on the back here, you can see. I've got a little pot of water on. I'm going to be melting the chocolate. It's just a little pot with a little bit of water in there. I'm going to be creating a water bath or a bain-marie with my chocolate. So in here I have a dark sugar-free, dairy-free chocolate, and I have 100 grams of chocolate chips in there, and I make sure it's dark because obviously the darker the chocolate, the better it is for us. So you want to definitely go sugar-free, you want to go dairy-free if you can pick it up as well, and gluten-free. And I know that you can buy this in the supermarket now, these wonderful sugar-free chocolate chips. Just go for the darkest one that you can get, because always remember, when something is a little bit darker, especially when it comes to chocolate, it's got more cacao in it, and it's that cacao that is those antioxidants, those polyphenols, really good for our brain health, really good for our heart health as well. Antioxidants go through and they literally eat up all the free radicals that are there in your body to cause you harm. So that is the chocolate. As well as that, give me a second, I just need to quickly wash this out. Very quickly wash it out. We're going to use it again. Alright, there was a half wash. We're going to use our little machine again, because as I was saying, this is a chocolate avocado frosting. And you're probably thinking, huh? I want to get as much avocado into you guys as possible. I'm really working on this because, you know, plants are so good for us. And avocado is such a wonderful, you know, food with that monounsaturated fat and, you know, high in fiber as well. So, you know, it is extremely low calorie, which makes this just absolutely perfect for you guys. And it's just one of those wonderful, wonderful foods. So I'm going to get as much avocado into you guys as possible. I'm even going to put it in the frosting. So our chocolate is melting behind me, which means that I can now take the rest of this avocado and put it into my little mixer. Just got to give it another bit of a blend. And what we want for this one is we want around about, I say around about, you don't have to be precise on the frosting. You can be a little bit more easy on it. You want around about 50 grams, 50 to 60 grams, which is, you know, 1.7 to 2 ounces of lovely ripe avocado is going to go into our frosting, which I know that sounds really odd. You're like, why? Trust me, it's delicious. It's delicious. All right, so we are going to give it, once again, a little bit of a blend. I wanted to get it as smooth as possible because you don't want lumps in frosting. That's nasty. And this may require you having to take out your spatula and push it down, just because you don't have a lot of avocado and it's a bit harder to blend when there's not a lot of mixture already in the little food processor. So give it a bit of a scrape down. And don't give up. That's the secret. Never give up. We can do this. Couple of scrapes. Okay, happy with that. That can sit on the side there because I want to show you guys what's happening over here. So with that, just that little bit of time that the chocolate is spent in our pot, as you can see, there is enough heat coming from the steam from the water to begin to melt our chocolate. So you can kind of see what I've got going on here already. And even pulling that up, you can see the steam come off. So chocolate, the beauty of chocolate is it doesn't need much heat in order to melt. Hence why just the hint of heat, which is obviously steam without it going directly onto the heat, can achieve that after not too long. So I'm happy with that. That didn't take long at all. You can also melt your chocolate in the microwave if you wanted to. You know, just do it on 30-second blasts and stir between each time you blast it. But you can see how quick it takes when we just do it on the stove and we get this lovely, wonderful, smooth chocolate. So once we're at this point, we're going to add in just a little bit more of our coconut milk. And this time it's 40 grams of coconut milk goes in. And 40 grams is about 1.4 ounces. Hey, a bit more. There we go. There we go. A little bit. Yeah, okay, 40 grams. There we go. Perfect. So give that a quick stir through. The other thing about, you know, just gently heating your chocolate is you don't want it to get too hot. It doesn't respond all that well when it gets too hot. So the first thing it might do if it overheats is it might seize up and actually kind of go hard on you. Hence why this method is just perfect. Look at that. Oh. Right now, what you've created is ganache, basically. You've created a dairy-free, sugar-free ganache. And even just like that, it's pretty amazing. But we're just going to finish it off, so to speak. And the easiest way to combine the two is just to pour that lovely ganache straight into our little food processor. Give it a bit of a scrape. Don't want to waste anything. Oh my gosh, don't want to waste it. Put it into your food processor. Give it a bit of a blast. Let us see what we have achieved. Oh my gosh. And it's thickened up really well. This is going to be amazing. All right. So once you're at this point and your cake is completely cooled, it's a really good idea to just, to just wait until it's cooled down on you, or for you, I should say. Let's take back our cake and it's time to decorate. Now, decorating could mean, well, you don't even have to decorate. You could eat it just like this. Amazing. And by the way, this cake, just like this, will keep in the fridge in an airtight container 4 to 5 days. And yes, you can also freeze it for up to 3 months. So that's fabulous. But if you want to just, take it a step further, and why wouldn't you? Because it's easy to do. You can do this. Create this incredible frosting, chocolate avocado frosting. It's perfect amount for this cake. Because yes, you're going to get a good, decent blob of this frosting in every serve. But what I really like about it is it just happens to just go down the side of the cake. Just that little bit of a dribble, which is always very exciting. I always find that little dribble to be just that more enticing than when icing or frosting just kind of hangs, sits on top of the cake. I love the dribble. I think the dribble's pretty good. So this particular amount of frosting is ideal if you're like me and you want a little bit of a dribble because it's yum and it looks good. All right, so frosting is on. Don't even need to do anything like that. You could literally stop now if you wanted to. This could be it. You could have the most amazing chocolate frosted cake just like that. But let's take it one more step. Very easy step, by the way, but my goodness, does it make it amazing. So I'm using fresh berries here. Berries, as we know, are really low in naturally occurring sugars. So, you're adding fiber, you're adding vitamin C, you're adding, obviously, flavor, you're adding color, and you're doing it with a particular fruit that is extremely good for us as well. And it's berry season, definitely coming into pretty strong berry season in Australia where we currently are. I mean, berries tend to be available all year round, but obviously right now they are getting even better as we get warmer and warmer. So I always start, I've got 3 types of berries I'm putting on my cake today. You can do 1, 2, 3, none, completely up to you. I always start with the biggest one first. So the biggest one being strawberries. Always start there. And then I use the blueberries just to kind of place them in the middle of the strawberries, as you can see, just like that. And you get quite a nice little design going on. Have fun with this. This is actually probably my favorite part. I love just having a bit of a decorative moment with my chocolate and with my berries. It's always a lot of fun. And we eat with our eyes. So, taking just that couple of minutes just to create something extra special is going to not just be great for your eyes, but if you're feeding this or sharing this with someone else or other people, this is such a nice little gift, by the way. Imagine going to if you're allowed to leave your home and go and visit people, then what a wonderful gift this would make if you take this with you. What a lovely gift. I've also got some blackberries, which I'm just going to put a couple of blackberries on just for a little bit of added excitement. Ugh, got berries falling down the side there. And there we go. We have this pretty spectacular looking cake, complete with dribbles down the side, which is wonderful as well. And it's looking pretty awesome. Now, if you don't want so many dribbles down the side, all you need to do is just hold off, like put the icing on your cake and then wait about 20 minutes and it'll firm up, and then put the berries on top. You won't get quite as much drizzle, but as I was saying, I quite like the drizzle effect. And let me just finish it off. One more thing, I just thought about this now. A little bit of pure as inulin powder makes for the most awesome little icing drizzle on top. Just like that. Oh, wow. How good does our little cake look now? Isn't it fabulous? I know, right? It is fabulous. Absolutely gorgeous. Let's slice into it. Let us slice into it. Gosh, I don't even know where to start with this slicing. I'm going to do my absolute... You know what? It requires a bigger knife. This is what I've decided. Slicing into this cake definitely requires a larger knife. I'm trying to decide where I'm going to start, but usually the best way to slice anything, we have a rolling blueberry, that's okay. The best way to slice anything is right down the middle, because then you're going to get an even slice. And out of this cake, you're probably going to get a good 6 portions out of this cake. Where's my plate? There it is. I only wish I could eat it. We're going to go share it with the neighbours. This cake belongs to the neighbours. Alrighty, so I want you to see, can you guys see how moist that is? Can you see, can you see, can you see? I hope you can see. This cake is so incredibly moist. Like, oh, I'm going to take that runaway blueberry and stick that right there. This cake is so incredibly moist. So incredibly delicious. And let's be honest, what's the best part? Incredibly easy to make. Really good for you. Really good for you as well. So there you go. This is my chocolate and avocado cake with a choc avocado frosting. Easy, simple, delicious, healthy. What better way to think about your weekend if you can. And if you're on the boost camp, here's a recipe for you to put away until next time. In a couple weeks time, get into it. I will be sharing this recipe on Bridget's Healthy Kitchen tomorrow morning. If you'd like a PDF copy sent to you, more than happy to share that recipe with you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, please continue to be safe and be well. If you already hit the weekend, have a great weekend. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are in the world. Whatever it is you're going to be getting up to, have a good one, guys. And we'll see you back here in the kitchen really, really